Hopefully you're quite excited about AWS technology now, and you may well be already working with it, or you may be looking to move into working with AWS. So firstly, I just wanted to have a quick conversation about why people might want to work with cloud computing. Obviously, it's fun to play with this exciting technology, but also there's a lot of job demand. So AWS is being taken up by companies at an extremely fast rate. It's huge, it's all over the world already, and that's only growing all the time, as companies are realizing the benefits of moving away from the traditional IT model. You also gain globally relevant skills. AWS is all over the world and it's used by companies all over the world. And that also means it gives you more ability to be able to move around. There are also lots of extremely rewarding career paths. So whether you want to work with management, whether you're looking to move into architecture or development or operations, and many other roles, having a good understanding of the cloud is going to be really important going forward for many business roles. There are also some really good salaries on offer. So it's a very competitive market, but there's a big demand for highly skilled AWS resources. So if you make sure that you have your skills up to date, then there are some really good salaries to be found. So why get certified? Well, firstly, you need to be able to demonstrate your skills to employers. So whether you're working in IT already and looking for that promotion, or maybe moving from a legacy IT role towards a cloud computing role, or you could be completely new to cloud computing and IT in general. Either way, having a certification is a really fantastic way to demonstrate your expertise. You can also differentiate yourself with a certification. So sure, lots of people do have certifications now, so just gaining a single certification may not be an edge, but you need to have that almost as a minimum now when you go out looking for work. And then if you are ambitious, you can gain further certifications, and that shows to employers that you really do have a strong work ethic, that you're committed and ambitious. You also learn a lot from the certification process. So from going through the training courses and building your knowledge over a period of time, you will gain a lot of knowledge about AWS. And you'll also develop practical skills. It's quite hard to learn AWS without actually practicing. So especially if you're going on to the associate or professional level certifications or the specialties, then you're going to need a lot of hands-on practice. And so by doing certifications and practicing on lab environments, you're going to build up skills that you can then use in the real world. So let's have a quick look at the different certifications available. So AWS have a couple of different paths. Firstly, on the bottom here, we have the foundational. So the Cloud Practitioner is the foundational level certification. Now, Cloud Practitioner is a fairly straightforward certification. The questions are relatively easy, and the scope is relatively shallow. So it's not one where you have to have a deep level of expertise. In fact, you've probably gained a good 50% of the knowledge you require just through doing this course. If you do want to do the Cloud Practitioner, I would suggest then doing a Cloud Practitioner course, because there are quite a few additional services that are covered. It also goes into a bit more detail on things like pricing, the global infrastructure, shared responsibility model, and security, just to name a few. Above the Cloud Practitioner, you then have the associate level. So here, things are starting to get a little bit more in depth, and they're specialized into certain areas. So you've got the architect path, the operations path, and the developer path. By far the most popular certification is the Solutions Architect Associate, followed by the developer and then the SysOps. So most people would start with the Solutions Architect Associate unless you come from a strong development background. Now, if you are going to do all three, I would suggest doing the Solutions Architect first, then the developer, and then the SysOps. The SysOps administrator does actually require some knowledge from these two certifications, so it's useful to do it as the third certification if you're going to do all three. So with the associate levels, the questions do get quite a bit harder in the exam, and it does go into quite a bit more depth. So you do need to spend quite a bit of time training for each of these. Above those, you then have two professional level certifications, the Solutions Architect and the DevOps Engineer. And you can see the DevOps Engineer kind of sits between SysOps and developer. Both of these certifications are very difficult, so the questions can be quite long and complex, and it really does require a bit of hands-on knowledge. So I would recommend that people do at least all of the associate level certifications before they try a professional level certification. And it really will pay off to have lots of hands-on experience before you do the professional level. On the right-hand side here, we have some specialties. So these can vary in difficulty quite a lot. So it really depends on what background you come from. The advanced networking, for example, does require a good amount of networking knowledge. So it's definitely recommended for people who do come from a strong networking background. And then you can see we have the database, data analytics, machine learning, security, and Alexa skills. So they're specialty certifications. They can be quite difficult. Now, you don't have any prerequisites for any of these certifications, but it is recommended that if you're going to go onto a specialty, you should at least do perhaps an associate level certification first, just to gain that broad knowledge that you need before you go into some kind of specialty scenario. So that's it for just a quick overview of certification on AWS. And there's some more information on the AWS website. I'll put some links attached to this lesson. Also, in the next lesson, you'll find some information about the other courses that we offer to help you towards your certifications.